So last week I did a video discussing my thoughts and opinions on whether or not the $600 federal payments will be extended for people collecting unemployment. That, as we know it, is ending July 31st, and it's actually a little bit earlier than that. I discussed that in the video. If you haven't seen it yet, then you definitely want to see that video before watching this one, so I'll leave that video down below in the description. If you haven't seen that video yet, it also probably means that you're not subscribed. I don't know what the hell you're doing if you're not subscribed. You must subscribe to my channel so that way you don't miss any future updates, and be sure that you hit that little notification bell as well, so that way you're notified every single time I actually make a new video. You're not going to miss any future updates with this upcoming legislation potentially coming. Now, to clear up any confusion, under the CARES Act, included in that was a provision that said that anyone collecting unemployment can receive an additional $600 payment on top of what their state offers them. That totally varies depending on how much you are making at your job, or whether or not you are a self-contractor, a gig worker, and perhaps you're collecting PUA. There's so many different variables here. But no matter what, if you're collecting unemployment, you're collecting something from your state, and in addition, you're receiving that $600, and that $600 is set to stop July 31st. But under the proposed HEROES Act, which passed the House, I've done many videos covering that already. I'll link some down below in the description, as well as other proposals. But under the HEROES Act, that would effectively have extended that $600 payment all the way up until January 31st. The Republicans are strongly against it. They do not want it to pass in any shape, way, or form. And so everyone that's collecting unemployment is just going to be left with their state benefits, and that $600 is going to be cut off cold turkey, no more. It's going to leave a lot of people in a bad financial spot. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to be able to cover their expenses or rent or their mortgage if they're unemployed, they're furloughed, they're laid off, they're looking for a job, any of the above. And in times of crisis, I truly do believe that the government should step in and help people. The government are the same people that closed all these workplaces down and effectively made people out of work. So I do believe that they should help these people get back on their feet, get the ball rolling. I do see the other side's argument that it's a disincentive to go to work. However, it's not like the virus is getting any better. We're seeing in more than half of the country that the virus is resurging in all these states, and it's making a lot of these places having to close down all over again and start from scratch. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the daily cases, we're actually worse off than ever before. So because the virus is resurging in so many states and there seems to be no end in sight, states are actually taking the initiative and helping people out, but not all states. You're going to have to pay attention and watch the entire video to understand if you will qualify and if you will benefit because of the state that you live in. So as the pandemic continues to cause layoffs across the country, 17 states now are actually extending the unemployment benefits, the state unemployment benefits that is not the $600 payments. That is up to the federal government. So it has nothing to do with your state. However, if you're all collecting unemployment right now, you might actually be seeing an extension in your unemployment by your state, the state money. Tens of millions of Americans are still out of work. 1.43 million new people joined the unemployment roll in the week ending in June 27th alone, according to the Labor Department. And the extra $600 a week they've been getting from the CARES Act is expected to expire at the end of the month. Now, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, or the CBPP, unemployment benefits typically do last up to 26 weeks, but under the CARES Act, states are providing at least 13 weeks of additional federally funded benefits to people who exhaust their typical state benefits. In states with high unemployment, quote unquote, those benefits are extended even further, another 13 to 20 weeks, according to the CBPP. So which states out of the United States of America are ultimately announcing an extension of the state benefits? Before I give you this list, I do want you to just smash that like button. It will just help with the YouTube algorithm, so that way all of the people of America can learn if their unemployment benefits will be extended. We're all in this together. We're fighting this together. So be sure that you do click that like button. It will support not just me, but frankly, everyone that watches this video. Well, right off the bat, number one is going to be California. California was one of the first states to announce an extension. California is the most populated state in the United States, so it does make sense for them to extend it. And they're seeing a record high number of daily cases, and the spikes are through the roof. So what California did for jobless Californians was actually extend the unemployment benefits for an additional 7 weeks. Now the maximum duration is 59 weeks for those on regular state unemployment and 46 weeks for those receiving PUA, or Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, according to the Employment Development Department. So the extended benefits are part of a program known as the Federal State Extended Duration Benefits. The EDD calls it Fed Ed. Now, this usually becomes available when states experience high or prolonged periods of unemployment, and in this case, That's definitely true. California previously became eligible for 13 weeks of these benefits. The extra 7 brings it to 20 for those receiving regular state unemployment insurance. Those people can now receive up to 26 weeks of regular state benefits, followed by 13 weeks of pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, a federal program that was created and funded under the CARES Act. So after that, they can begin to collect up to 20 weeks of Fed Ed if they remain unemployed for a total of up to 59 weeks. And then people who lost work or are not making nearly as much as they were because of the pandemic can apply for PUA. This was created because of the CARES Act. It's the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, and it's funding up to 39 weeks of assistance from the first week of February through the year's end. So these extra 7 weeks that California announced recently now brings it to a total of 46 weeks. But these benefits cannot be paid after December 26th in California, even if someone has not collected the full 46 weeks. And this is according to the National Employment Law Project. And this is coming off the heels at a time where thousands of people that live in California that applied months ago still have not received a dime from unemployment. So if you do happen to reside or work in the Golden State, then you're in good hands. But what about the rest of America? Well, here's the definitive list of the other 16 states that have now announced an extension of unemployment benefits. Number 1, Alabama. Alabamians who have exhausted their regular unemployment benefits as well as the extra benefits included in the federal stimulus package will be able to get up to 13 weeks of additional benefits. This is according to the state's Labor Department from their announcement last month. They were able to start claiming the benefits starting on July 5th. If you happen to live in Alaska, Alaska's unemployment rate has triggered a high unemployment period, or an HUP. The state's Department of Labor and Workforce Development Commissioner announced the period began the week of July 5th and will allow a possible 13 weeks to 20 weeks of extended benefits for eligible individuals. If you call Arkansas home, the Arkansas Department of Commerce, Division of Workforce Services, announced on June 29th that unemployed residents of Arkansas may be eligible for up to 8 additional weeks of unemployment benefits once they have exhausted their state and federal benefits. And we covered California. The Golden State added 20 weeks of unemployed insurance benefits to unemployed people impacted by the Rona. The federal state extended duration program was implemented for the first 13 weeks on July 1st, and programming for the additional 7 weeks will be implemented shortly after, according to the Employment Development Department. Up next will be Connecticut. Connecticut's Department of Labor started mailing out letters on June 29th to residents about to exhaust their unemployment benefits with information about how to file for extended state benefits. Claimants must have exhausted their state and federal unemployment benefits in order to qualify. And the unemployment rate is not low in Idaho. The Idaho Department of Labor announced June 26 that it was starting to notify unemployment workers whose current benefits are ending that day may be eligible for up to 13 weeks of additional benefits through the federal state extended benefit program. If you work in Indiana, on June 5th, Indiana's Department of Workforce Development announced it had triggered extended benefit programs for another 13 weeks. The extended period began on June 7. Next on the list is Kansas. The state's Department of Labor announced on June 18th that it had triggered extended benefits for an additional 13 weeks. The extended period began on June 7th. Stay in your lane if you live in Maine, because those receiving unemployment benefits in Maine can now get an additional 13 weeks of payments once they exhaust their initial 26-week benefits, the state's department announced on July 1st. And Anna, who lives in Montana, will be happy to hear that the state is offering extended unemployment benefits to those who have exhausted their state and federal benefits for up to 13 additional weeks. This is according to an announcement from the Montana Department of Labor and Industry on July 1st. You don't have to ask if you live in Nebraska, because Nebraska triggered extended unemployment benefits with its unemployment rate. The Nebraska Department of Labor announced on June 22nd the program will offer 13 additional weeks of benefits to those who have exhausted their current state and federal benefits. If you live in the Garden State, this is your fate, because the state's Labor Department announced on July 1st that it would begin providing 20 weeks of extended unemployment. The extension kicks in after people exhaust up to 26 weeks of state unemployment and 13 weeks of the federal emergency unemployment compensation. New news in New Mexico, because New Mexico's unemployment rate triggered the extended benefit program that will give unemployed residents who have exhausted their state and federal unemployment benefits an additional 13 weeks of benefits, the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions announced on June 26. You don't have to cryo if you live in Ohio, because Ohio residents who have exhausted their 26 weeks of state unemployment benefits as well as their federal boost will be eligible for up to 20 more weeks of benefits. This is according to the Department of Job and Family Services, who announced this past week. Hopefully this won't strain you if you live in Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvanians who have exhausted their regular unemployment benefits as well as the federal emergency benefits package may qualify for 13 additional weeks of payment. The state's Department of Labor and Industry announced, this was recent, the extended benefits period began May 3rd, but benefits are not payable until a claimant has exhausted their federal emergency compensation, and payments began with the week ending July 4th and are payable only for weeks of unemployment during the extended benefit period. Not North, but South. South Carolina's Department of Employment and Workforce announced on July 1st that the state began offering extended unemployment benefits for those who have exhausted their previous benefits. Eligible claimants will be able to receive up to an additional 10 weeks of benefits beginning the claim week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020. And then we have the Lone Star State. Texas entered a high unemployment period, or an HUP, according to the Texas Workforce Commission. Starting July 5th, eligible residents will have a 7-week extension on top of a 13-week extension of state extended benefit that was already in place. It's sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if you did not just hear your state on that list as follows, unfortunately, your state is, as of right now, will not be extending the unemployment benefits. However, this is totally tentative. That is good news. I would imagine states like New York and Florida would extend the unemployment benefits when push comes to shove, as unemployment is still high. So this is delightful to witness these states stepping up and provide more support for their citizens and people of that state that are working in there. It's not just some piece of tokenism. This is a very generous offer that they're doing. I will be sure to update you if more states go ahead and implement an extension of benefits. I would imagine in these coming weeks you will see those updates, so you don't want to miss any future videos. Be sure that you do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Tell me down below if you heard your state on that list and you're collecting unemployment currently. Let me know how you're going to benefit. Tell me down below in the comments. I'm curious to hear your story. If you did not hear your state on that list, I'm also wondering about what your circumstances look like. Are you trying to find work? Have you found work? Are you waiting to go back to work? Are you able to work? Let me know down below your situation down below in the comments. Let's chat. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. You got value out of it. Be sure that you do click that like button, smash it for me. Smash the like button. It will just help with the algorithm and support me. And if you'd like to see more videos from my channel, I do post videos every single week covering business, finance, investing, entrepreneurship, mindset, strategy, and tips and tricks from my own experience. Be sure you do subscribe, hit that big red button, and if you'd like to be notified every single time I make a video so you're first line to see it before anyone else, do click that little notification bell as well so you're notified every single time I make a new video. See you in the next one.